I wanted to look at something before we bring in our next guest, and that is the Grammys is really, the music industry highlight of the year. And this year they created a completely new award for a music industry stalwart. He's been around, well, seemingly forever. He is also, in my opinion, one of the most violent men in the music industry. And we're back to unpack it. Dr. Dre. They created the Global Impact Award, the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. He is the first recipient. And from this point onwards, obviously other people will be the recipient of the Dr. Dre Global Impact Award. And we are talking about somebody that not only has significant charges against him, a history of violence towards men and women, but somebody I have firsthand experience of his temper. So let's have a look at this. Dr. Dre has always been surrounded by controversy for a very, very long time. He was, before NWA, arguably the very first hip-hop band, gangster rap hip-hop band to go mainstream. In fact, not arguably, absolutely. Although Ice-T was doing gangster rap before, he'd never gone mainstream to the degree of NWA. So there's issues there, which we'll get to shortly. And as I say, there's always been lots and lots of controversies surrounding Dr. Dre. But the very first controversy to hit me was, well, hit me, interesting euphemism there, was in 1992. When he was not only accused, but he basically, he beat up Dee Barnes, who was the host of Pump It Up, which was a hip hop rap show, right? And, poor woman, I can't even tell you how badly he attacked her. It was 1991. It was at a music industry party. And he was angry with her following an episode of her show where he said that she had disrespected NWA because Ice Cube, who was heading out of NWA, leaving them, had, in NWA's opinion, disrespected them, and Dee Barnes had allowed it. And Barnes stated that Dr. Dre slammed her face and the right side of her body repeatedly against the wall near the stairway. And at the time, Dre and some other members of NWA, but not Eazy-E, and that's the interesting thing. Some other members of NWA were totally supportive of Dee Barnes being beaten up for this TV show. Totally supportive. But she wasn't the only one. Michelle A., who I've also interviewed, who was an artist in her own right and the mother of one of Dre's children, accused Dre of subjecting her to domestic violence during their time together as a couple. She did not initiate legal action. Their abusive relationship is portrayed somewhat in the 2016 biopic Surviving Compton. However, and this is interesting, the NWA Straight Outta Compton film, of which Dre is a co-producer, makes no reference whatsoever to his substantial violence. Substantial violence. Okay, there's loads more to tell you about, right? Now, just to say that after Straight Outta Compton came out, and people were like, wait a second, this is a really violent guy. How come it's all like it's glossed over his violence? So then he came out and said, basically I was a horrible mess all those years ago. I was young and effing stupid. There's things that I would like to take back. It was really effed up, blah, blah, blah. So it's like, okay, right. Okay. So are you actually saying this is all behind you? Well, you'd like to think so, wouldn't you? But it's not.